Booga Booga Boo! Today we're looking at all 16 decks in the Glacial Uprising Event and ranking them from worst to best. Number 16. Frost Titans. This deck is just completely terrible. First of all, your early game is lone deads, something that is quite weak to a lot of other early game units, and, most importantly, Circle Wrath, in which the deck gets evaporated by. Then, you also have a bare bones middle game, where you're either forced to use the Juggernaut Dead Smithy combo, which makes it so that 4 out of the 8 cards in your deck are useless, or you have to rush out an Enslaved Giant or Giant, both of which have no support and die easily. Even if you are able to get out your first giant unit with support, the deck is still very weak to enemy generals. And on top of all of that, even if you somehow survive into the late game and set up the double giant combo with max monstrosity, it is still weak, as you do not have the economy to replace any giant you lose, and the deck pales in comparison to every other late game combo. This deck is just an abomination of the deck, with a terrible concept that is a pain to even get set up. Number 15. Spearos and Kai. This deck is a massive improvement from number 16, but still has some flaws. The biggest flaw is dead spam without Rune of Reanimation. This is a crime against humanity, since Rune of Reanimation provides a massive health boost to dead spam, alongside also providing dead spam with a much needed card to punish enemy swarms. This makes dead spam, an already mediocre at best strategy, much worse. On the play side, the deck does have Speartins, which is an alternative dead spam playstyle that has a lot more flexibility, and the deck also has Spearos and Maokai, albeit the Spearos has no support spells, and Maokai isn't known for being that good of a general. The deck also has Snow Squall, which is quite a nice spell, but not enough to bump this deck up in the ratings. Number 14. Vampiric Vergla. Crazy J is showing off his French skills with his deck name, eh? Anyways, a slight step up, but still pretty meh overall. The main thing this deck has going for it is an amazing early game that transitions quite well into the middle game, as you have Swordshire Vamp with Speartins. This deck further adds on to the early game with Lightning Storm and the flexibility of Snow Squall, alongside Vampiric Soul, which at least provides a cure source and some decent healing. However, you still run into a massive issue of lone magic heal with no support cards to back it up, which is really bad. All of the other cards just come together to make an overall meta deck that somewhat works, but it definitely falls flat in comparison to the higher ranked decks. Number 13. Toxical. While it doesn't have the generals like number 15, it is a much better dead spam deck than Spearos and Kai. This is mainly because it has Rune of Reanimation. Yippee! Besides that truly massive difference, it also has a more refined concept of poison application. Though poison is not really that strong in this meta due to how strong Mercs are, it can definitely be punishing in some scenarios. This deck also has a better anti-general power in my opinion, as you have the Juggernaut stun with Glacial Fletching on the Toxic Dead. Despite all of this, the deck is still pretty bad due to how Mercs hard counted 2 slots in the deck and severely hurt another alongside the deck just being dead spam, which is only really slightly good with the bashing combo, and this deck does not have a bashing combo. Number 12. Frozen Meteors. This deck is basically this Vampiric Verglas with Glacial Fletching. Though you no longer have a cure source, nor Lightning Storm, you do now have Scorch for weakening enemy swarms alongside a much needed alt economy card. Besides that, the deck is quite weak. Lone Magic Kill with no support cards is very bad, Minor Hustle is a weak economy card, and Scorch, an already mediocre at best spell, is very crystal heavy, which clashes with your Magic Kill. And the really big thing that hurts this deck a lot is the lack of any cure source whatsoever, which makes it so that the deck is quite weak to any damage over time effects. Number 11. Riprider's Rift. This deck has an even better early game than Frozen Meteors, as the Sicklegraph Archidon with Glacial is a super flexible and reliable early game, but the downside is that it has a crappy transition into the middle game and is a crappy middle game overall. The Shadow Rip combo without Vamp or Vault is not that good, alongside the fact you have no supporting spells or enchantments for the combo. The Merc also clashes with the Shadow Rip combo due to the speed of the Merc. The main reason why this deck manages to land higher than the previous bottom decks is because you can go for Ripture with some Mercs in some matchups, which is decently strong. Number 10. Board of Ice. Similar core shell to Vampiric Verglas back in number 14, but it swaps out the Mere Magic Kill and Vampiric Soul for a much more refined concept with Volcanic Armor and Tussle Coil. Though it lacks a key source, the splash damage and area control provided by Tesla paired with volcanic armor give your Spiritans a much stronger offensive and defensive presence. All the while you still have Snow Squall to just fill in any other space control need you may have. Number 9. Rage of Winter. This deck loses a lot of its middle game power in exchange for having a very strong early game. Not only is a Signature with Glacial Fletching a super flexible and super strong early game, but you also have Rage and Summoning Staff that truly give you that super insanely strong early game power. Though you do have a useless spell Illuminate, the deck's super strong early game gives it an edge over the previous decks. The main reason why that this deck is in the middle point of the rankings is because it's still a very mediocre staff deck that lacks a cure source or any backup plan. Number 8. Snow King. Another Sorcerer Spiriton deck. This one has King Zurich and Heavy Healing Wisp. Though King Zurich is not the best general, he's still decently strong, and though Heavy Healing Wisp is not the cure source for your Archidons, it's an amazing middle game spell. The deck transitions into the middle game and even has a little bit of late game power, thus it is higher than the other decks. Number 7. Arctic Alchemy. Hot damn, is it a living hell to play this deck. It is one of the most painful experiences of all time, but if you can pull it off, it is better than the previous decks. Basically, your entire game plan is use Spiritans of Lightning Storm and Snow Squall to stall until you get a Myric Mana Burst stack, which is one of the best, if not the best strategies in the entire game. But it's just so painful to do this, as you're playing Spiriton Start without Heavy Healing Wisp and also have a completely useless spell in your deck, being Surge. Number 6. Winterborn Warriors. Yet another Sorcerer Spiriton deck, but this one is quite an upgrade from the rest. The addition of Spears with Heavy Healing Wisp is a massive boost for this deck's strength. Heavy Healing Wisp on Spearos is insanely strong as it helps Spearos use his abilities more effectively. On top of those two amazing cards, you still have Glacial Fletching and Snow Squall just to make in such a good deck. In terms of event decks, of course, because this deck is not that good in terms of meta decks, but it's a pretty good event deck. Also, something notable that hurts this deck a bit is the lack of a cure source, which will hurt your Archidons in uncertain matchups. Number 5. Snowstrike Eclipse. This deck is a bit weird when compared to the rest of the decks. The biggest difference is an absolutely terrible early game that can and will be hard countered by Psychograph. But if you can get past this early game, you have a very strong middle game despite having no generals. Eclipser, Rage, and Glacial Fletching is a good combo against melee decks. Projectile Bearer and Spirit Death is a good combo for constant pressure, and the Juggernaut Crawler Rage combo can actually somewhat work in some very particular matchups. Again, if you can get over the terrible lone crawler early game, it is peak. Number 4. Spearos Unleashed. It's just deck number 6, but slightly better in my opinion. Though you don't have Heavy Healing Wisp anymore for your Spearos, you do get Pike and Healing Ward while keeping Squall. Pike lets you do a pretty good job against Myrics, and Healing Ward gives you a decent cure source. Having a cure source, albeit not the best one, is much better than having no cure source whatsoever. Number 3. Hailstorm Generals. Yet another Sorcerer Spiriton deck. This one has Glacial Fletching, which is an added bonus, and, most importantly, Triple Generals! Generals are very strong in this meta right now, and these generals are not too shabby. Zephos is just amazing, dealing an insanely high heavy damage and just hard countering General Sightless and all other giants. Base Spearos is alright, but he does help with rush decks and swarms. Kichu, though she has no Myrics, is still good for that juicy heavy damage and backline support. Generals are just very good, and the only flaw in this deck is a lack of cure source, and the generals could be slightly better. Number 2. Arctic Arrows. Ooh, lots of creative liberty here, Crazy J. Another Sorcerer Spiriton deck? Wow! You know, why not have half of the decks in this event be Sorcerer Spiriton, eh? Jokes aside, this deck is one of the best Sorcerer Spiriton decks in the entire event. Sure, it has no cure source, and doesn't have triple generals like the last deck, but it has Boyer's Trap and Archers now. These two generals add a lot more flexibility, and though you miss out on Zephos and Spearos, you have a lot more consistent backline protection that is in the form of Boyer's Trap, Kichu, Archers, and Glacial Fletching. I can see an argument being made that Hailstorm Generals is better, but in my opinion, Arctic Arrows does a better job utilizing the Archidons. Number 1. Melted Ice. Sure, this deck doesn't have any generals, but I cannot understate just how strong Mercs are. Mercs and Spiritual are an insane game changer. They have great healing, the best curing in the game, and also have the ability to become a tank if you shield cycle them. The Merc is just so strong. It is not like the other cards in this deck are bad either, because Surge and Blazing Bolts gives you an insane amount of early game power. Before the enemy can get a Cure Soul set up, it's quite strong. Snow Squall is the best spell in the game by a long shot and help your defensive and offensive power immensely. The deck is just super good in event deck standards. The biggest flaw in this deck is just the lack of support enchantments and generals, which makes it so your economy may be a bit weak and you may be a bit weak to enemy generals. Besides that, it is a very good event deck. Like, comment, subscribe so I keep making this content.